The title of this podcast is Be Mindful of Your Ego. One of the things that I have become acutely aware of is how cunning my ego is. It is slick. And when I see it trying to emerge and take center stage to rob a moment for itself, I notice it, but sometimes I don't act upon telling it to sit down, showing it the door. But little by little, when I do notice it, I start to get better and better about not acting on it. And one of the best ways that I've uh, learned, one of the best techniques that I've found for myself is that when it says something, and I've mentioned this before, I say no comment. So that's me talking to that inner voice that is not helpful. And it may have a judgment about something or someone and what you should do when I'm in conversation with someone or I'm reading something that maybe my psyche doesn't agree with that's happening in the world, in politics, or happening in the organization in which I work. I remind myself to say no comment. So I've gotten pretty good at that part, but recently something occurred in which I was on the verge of letting it take center stage with one little comment, one little thing out loud that I showed at the door just in the nick of time. And what it is we had a individual who is regarded as a wellness expert at Mayo Clinic, and we have many of us have read his book. I was very grateful to how much his book has changed my life and contributed to it, as well as the lives of many of my friends and colleagues. And it's Dr. Ahmed Sood's book, The Mayo Clinic Guide to Stress-Free Living. And we had him in town yesterday to give a series of talks. One of the leaders that I work with had an idea after listening to him that, hey, it would be a great idea if Keith could work with him one on one, and we would pay for that, work with him one on one, and perhaps the two of them could work together to come up with something that Keith could share at Mayo Clinic more broadly. And so um, as they were talking and seeing if I was on board with it before asking him about it, uh, there's a part of me that wanted to say, I already have a relationship with Dr. Sood. Not that me saying that would add any value to the conversation. Like it wasn't like, hey Keith, do you know him? Have you worked with him before? That wasn't asked. But this little voice inside wanted somehow to be acknowledged or to appear bigger than who I am, uh, and I'm just a servant, but to feel larger, uh, and in terms of identity, to now it's like, hey, we go way back. I had a conversation with him, about reading his book, and we talked for an hour and a half over the phone, and it wanted to do all of that and for no other reason but to be, applauded and to be acknowledged or viewed at some level of importance. Mindful, and again, none of this contributed to the conversation that they were having. It was a simple thing. They had an idea in which the two of us could start to meet, and I could learn from him, and we can share some insights, and we could share some of it more broadly across Mayo Clinic. That was it. But I was just really struck by how quickly the ego wanted to insert itself so that it could uh, uh, be praised, to be acknowledged, be seen. And that's not good. And I think this happens often with other people. It has certainly happened often with me where I felt the need. I'm not a person to say that, hey, I know this person and name drop and all those things to gain some kind of social standing or clout. Mine doesn't do that, but it did do this other thing. And I am super grateful that I was alert. And not only was I alert, but I noticed and I acted and I kept noble silence as they shared this idea. And I said, absolutely, I'm really interested in something like that. And I would love the opportunity to work with Dr. Sood more closely. So I invite you to think about this and how it might apply in your own life. Are there things that are happening in your world in which you think that you are not being credited with or acknowledged for or thanked or praised for? And just remember that the part of you that needs that to feel significant is not a part of you that you want to uh, nurture, that you want to allow to continue to grow because its hunger, its thirst is insatiable and it will seek that out and just really undermine what you're really here for, which is to be conscious, loving, and kind, and to serve the moment in front of you. That's what we're here for. Whatever form that takes for you, that's what you're here for. And that has nothing to do with me. That is not me centric, egocentric. It is all other oriented. All the work you do is internally for you, and the world benefits uh, as a result of the work that you do on yourself. So, again, just that ego, man, is something else. At least mine is.